Hey guys, this is the first episode of what I'm going to call Wheel Movies, our Wheel Movie Reviews. I know it's a total play on words, like a lot of things that I do, but anyways, we're trying something different. This is going to be something I'm going to do on a weekly basis. I think I might do it on Sunday nights. We'll see if that sticks, but anyways, let me make sure we're actually live, though. Let me do a test to make sure we're good. Alright, yeah, we are good. We're totally good right now. So anyways, as you can see, we're going to be doing a review of SUBURBICON and Jigsaw. And I am going off of some notes, so I am going to have to put on some glasses to see for a second here. But, anyways, so SUBURBICON is getting blasted in the box office really badly. And I'm going to give it as fair a review as I can. I don't want to sit here and say it was a horrible movie, but I'm not going to say that it was a great movie. Because it wasn't. And I'm going to explain why it wasn't. As best as I can. And of course, like with movie reviews, I mean, this is totally opinion based, with some prior knowledge to. Well, first off, okay, so it's the Coen Brothers. Coen Brothers wrote this, and then Clooney ended up directing it, and I feel like it doesn't necessarily really feel like a Coen Brothers film, as much as it feels like something else. It feels like, I mean, there's some elements to it that, you know, like the beginning, for example, where they basically show, like, you're going through, like, a pamphlet of, like, you know, if you were going to be part of this neighborhood and stuff, and they made it really cheesy, like the 1950s style, you know, like, one of those, like, you know, those cookie cutter homes, whole American dream, this whole, like, you know, like the Beaver Cleaver type family, you know what I mean? Like the perfect family type thing, you know? They were trying to get that image across, and I think that's the satire of it, you know, I think is very much the Coen Brothers. And I say that it's satire in the fact that it's really making big assumptions of the way that people were of that era. There's also an element of where they're talking about race and so forth, but you know, which is true to the time period, and I think that also kind of showing deeper questions. I think it's kind of Coen Brothers, but I would say more the zaniness of it, you know, and there is a little bit of zaniness. There's more cheesiness, like that. You know, and that's where the satire comes in that I'm trying to talk about. But there's also like, okay, so I'm going to do my best to not give spoilers on this. I'm not going to tell you how it ends because that would totally give everything away here. But let's see here. So yes, I got to get my glasses on because I'm like an old man. So, the people in this, the parents, basically, you have two people. You have, Matt Damon's character is Gardner Watch. That's the main guy in this movie. You know, and if you see the trailer, it's perceived as basically, you know, he was in for some money to the mob, and basically as a result of that, his wife ends up getting killed, you know, by the mob, you know, due to the fact of not being able to pay them, okay? And basically you could have perceived that from the trailer because they give it away. There's no, you know, if you haven't seen it, you know, the trailer, then I'm really sorry. You know, probably shouldn't have watched this review. I definitely gave a warning in the description. But anyways, so basically she dies, And of course, obviously, this is going to have a traumatic effect on their son, and it certainly does. Um, the scene that they actually show where she did die, it was very disturbing, to a degree. I mean, uh, I think it's a shitty way to go. Is basically what I would say. I mean, it's not the worst that I've seen. I've seen more tragic before, but anyways, it was pretty horrible. It would have been very traumatic for a child, anyways. So as the movie goes on, like it's kind of like when she dies, it's almost like Matt Damon just kind of wants to move on from it and just ignore the fact that the mob killed his wife, and he's not really taking any responsibility on his own. He's not taking any responsibility for this having anything, any way having to be his fault. He doesn't really feel. You don't really get a sense of any guilt whatsoever, which is pretty messed up. You would think that the person would be more responsible. Um, would be, well, not more responsible, but would be more uh, accountable. But this guy is not accountable at all. And then basically, you see a relationship start springing with his wife's sister. But I don't want to go into that. I want to go into the real nitty gritty of this. And basically what that is that you have the two parents, and they think they know best no matter what, and they're clearly so consumed with themselves that they don't really care what's going on with the child at all. At one point, they're willing to basically ship him off to a military school just to get him out of there. And okay, by the way, the part with the sister, the reason why I had to bring that up is the relationship that Gardner starts to have because she comes to live with them. So anyways, his wife's sister comes to live with them after his wife dies, and then she starts taking the role of his mom. She even goes to the lengths of dyeing her hair to the same color of her sister, which I think is fucking ridiculous, okay? It shows some psychosis there, or some, a bit of, I don't know, identity crisis maybe? I don't know, wanting to be your sister, I don't know. I don't think it goes that deep. But, and then there's this whole other thing going on, where basically this family called the Myers moves in, and they're black, okay? And Suburbicon is a completely white neighborhood, okay? And this is in the 1950s. So, the response to that is not very good, okay? They end up treating this family so horrible, and this family actually lives right behind the Gardners. No, not the Gardners, the Lodges. I don't know why I said the Gardners. The Lodges, okay? They live right behind the Lodges. And the boy develops their son develops a relationship with the kid next door. A friendship, not a relationship. They're not gay. But, a friendship. And anyways, that, it starts with the son doesn't really want to do it. He doesn't really want to hang out with him. But anyways, they become friends or whatever. And everybody is in an uproar because the Myers family is there. And they are so consumed by this whole thing, this whole ridiculous racist thing of these people being there. But it's a commentary. Well, I don't know if it's really a commentary, but basically what's going on is this whole thing's a distraction. These people are thinking that, they're automatically thinking, these people are black, so they must be bad, which I'm not making that observation myself. That is not the way I think. I am not a racist individual at all. But in the movie, they are thinking because they are black, they are bad, and therefore they should not be in the neighborhood, and they need to move out. And they cause all sorts of commotion. They riot. It's fucking ridiculous. So anyways, this is all going on while, Lodge is making all these terrible mistakes. he really fucks up. Um, as you know, he does murder someone. That's part of it. Um, which that's a problem. And it's just him like trying to. It seems like at every bit of the movie, he's always trying to kind of cover up his actions or like somehow justify them as being right. And the son can see right through this, by the way. And he questions him several times in the movie. And every time he questions him, he says, "Well, you're a little boy. You don't know anything. And he kind of makes that point that he's the child and he's the dad. The son's the child and he's the dad, and the dad's always right, no matter what. And this kid is not very old. Maybe like I would say probably 12 or something like that. I would guess they never really say his age. That doesn't really come up, but what I think it is, what I think it's a commentary on partly is that a kid, um, like, like like when you grow up, you're always taught that you're supposed to respect your parents. You're supposed to go with whatever thing that they say goes, and you kind of have to go with that. You don't really have a choice. And that's kind of where he's forced to be because he even gets this flack from the sister-in-law. Or the sister, I guess, yeah. From his, yeah, she'd be, yeah. Anyway, his aunt, basically, is giving him a bunch of flack about how, like, he doesn't want to eat. Then she says basically, oh, well then maybe I should call up and tell them that at the grocery store they're expecting, you to work or whatever. And then basically that's how the conversation goes. And then she says, I don't expect to hear anything from you. And it's always about, like, them being superior to the child, which I know that happens to a degree when you're rearing a child. I mean, I understand that. But I think the film was making a point that basically just because someone is your parent doesn't always mean that they are necessarily right. They're not always right, I mean, even though a kid can't probably, I'm not suggesting a kid says that to his parents, obviously, but I feel like that's something that the film was trying to hit on. And I also think that it was interesting how they hit on this whole thing of this distraction of racism while you have the Lodges doing all this, or Mr. Lodge doing all these terrible things. And, these are people that got involved with the mob and stuff, and they're bringing this to the neighborhood. And yet people are worried about some black family that moved in. To me, it's kind of comical in a way. I'm not saying racism is comical, but I'm saying the way that they set that up was kind of comical, and the fact that, it was such a distraction. And I think it makes the point that racism doesn't really point out who's a good or bad guy. I mean, that's kind of like really dumb. Like, and most people, obviously we know that. Obviously we know that racism is a dumb thing. It's based off of probably the most insignificant thing that you could probably think of, and that's skin color. That it's at its core, and it's such a ridiculous thing. It completely defies any sort of logical debate, and to me, I think that's what they're kind of poking fun of, is the fact that they were so consumed about some trivial bullshit thing that didn't really matter, that they couldn't really see who really was bad, because they automatically perceived that, oh, hey, everybody in this neighborhood's good, and they're completely ignoring all these things that are happening as this riot's going on at the Myers house. So, the reason why I would say this movie is not great is that I feel like, it's just okay. I feel like the acting is all right. I mean, the line delivery is not overwhelmingly amazing or anything like that. And I feel like the film just, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a tragedy, in a way, with the way that things go down in this film. But anyways, I guess the real reason why I say it's not that great of a film is just because um, it just isn't. I just don't think it's a very deep thinking film. Like I just don't think you know I mean there's some cool themes in it. There's some cool ideas, but I mean I just really don't think that it's hard to really say like what you're walking away from when you watch it, like because there's a lot of themes that are cool that they put in there, but it just seems like it kind of doesn't really go anywhere. And then in terms of like there's some unanswered questions, like what's the fate of the kid after all that transpires happens, which I'm not going to give away. I want to give you the opportunity to see this. But to be honest with you, I mean, I don't think this is going to go down as like a legendary film by any means. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it could have been better, But anyways, that's enough on Suburbicon. That's pretty much my thoughts on that. But I also saw another movie this weekend, and that was Jigsaw. And Jigsaw was, it was your typical Saw movie. A lot of blood, a lot of guts, just completely horrendous amount of gore. I wouldn't say it was horrendous. Actually, yeah, it was pretty gross. Um, like you would expect from a Jigsaw movie, or a Saw movie, rather. But anyways, so the story was very basic. Which is not always true of Saw, because if you watched all 7 of those movies, yeah, some stuff gets really, really confusing. But at any rate, so the story, I would say it's not that. I mean, I don't think you would necessarily be able to guess guess who was the bad guy in this. I don't think it's really that. I don't think it's super obvious, but I mean, I feel like this film doesn't leave enough mystery to it, because like in the previous Saw movies, especially like the first 3, okay, those were great. Beyond that, they're okay. They just progressively got kind of shitty, to be honest with you, because the plot just got so freaking confusing that you just became lost. You became lost in this whole thing, and you're just like, okay, what the hell is going on here? And they always explain at the end, and playing the dee-dee-dee, 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 dee-dee-dee. The classic Saw music, which they had that in this. But anyways, I don't think this is going to reinvent the series, to be honest with you. If anything, I think it's going to kill it. And the reason why I say that is because it just doesn't do it for me anymore. It's just not, because the games are kind of like, it didn't seem like they were as well thought out as they've been in previous movies. Like, and it was only an hour and 30 minutes, which I don't think, it felt rushed. Like, it felt very rushed. You didn't really feel connected with the characters, to be honest with you. And here I am hitting my green screen. Jackson, are you good? But anyways, sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Basically, the, yeah. I don't feel like you don't really become connected to any of the characters. Like, you don't really feel like you're really rooting for one to kind of make it out of there, you know? I mean, you don't really feel, you don't feel any deep connection to them. I feel like in the first film you did get a deeper connection, especially with like the character Amanda, for example. Like you really were kind of rooting for her a lot of times, and sometimes you weren't rooting for her. Sometimes you're like, you know, but regardless, I'm just saying the character development was very non-existent, uh, completely non-existent, as far as I'm concerned. Um, Same thing with like the person that um, I mean, there isn't really a hero in this, to be honest with you. I'm not saying everybody dies. That's not what happens, but um, you don't really leave the theater um, feeling like justice was served, if you will. Maybe a little bit, but you're not, you don't know enough about the character that gets affected by what happens in the movie um, to really care. To be honest with you, it's not like you really care about it at the end. You're kind of like, oh, okay, that's whatever. Um, I just feel like this is just trying to reinvent a series that just you know, it's over. I mean, don't ruin something that's good. You know, which I think they kind of did by making 7 movies. I mean, to begin with. Now, what is this? An 8th film? I mean, or something like that. I could even be wrong about 7. It might be even more because I think if you count the 3D and then you count like this one, I think it's probably like 9 films. To be honest with you, I don't actually know, but I would say Jigsaw not worth seeing. Not worth your money. I mean, maybe if you have Movie Pass, which, in case you don't know what Movie Pass is, it's $10 a month. Check it out. Just go to the website, moviepass.com. Definitely check it out. It's really cool. But anyways, guys, so I'm going to try to do this more. I might even incorporate a friend on it. I don't know. Might do an edited video of reviews instead of doing the live stream format. But we'll see what happens in the future. I'm just kind of trying this out because I really do like the platform of YouTube. And I really do enjoy talking about movies. I really love movies, so this seemed like a great idea. I mean, I know that my channel is mainly gaming, but I figured, what the hell, why not do some movie reviews too? I mean, shit, we've even done stuff for records before, which we will do again. I think I might even do, you know, I might even do some music reviews, possibly. But anyways, I just, I don't know, I just feel like Jigsaw is kind of eh. Suburbicon, I feel like, might be worth seeing. I think it was good for what it was, which I would say it's under the genre of kind of a dark comedy sort of deal. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching, and leave some comments below. I'll pose a question. Which one did you like more, or did you like neither? Or, I mean, well, you might not have seen them, but if you like Suburbicon more, tell me why. If you like Jigsaw more, tell me why. Or if you saw one and you liked it, just comment below as to why you liked it. And then, you know, feel free to talk about some upcoming movies you might be excited about too. Just to start conversation with other people. But mainly, I just want to know what your thoughts are on these films, if you have any thoughts at all. So anyways, guys, as always, please like, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I will see you next time. Maybe on another one of these videos, probably something before. I'm trying to release another video on some updates on recent games. So, anyways, guys, you have a great night, and thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.